Welcome to another episode of the Lightspeed Investing Podcast. I've got Sebastian here back again. He is a expert trader who has also created his own speaking agency. Speaking was the number one explosive growth that he was able to install into his own business when he finally figured out that marketing channel. So, Sebastian, glad to have you here, man. Super excited to really do a deep dive on what you saw, right? Worked well for not just your own business, but the passion that you have around speaking as a tool.
Right. Yeah, well, it's good to be here again. Thank you so much for having me back.
Yeah, man. Hey, so first things first, in regards to the speaking industry, right? If people didn't know much about it, what do you have to say? What is the current state of the speaking industry as of right now?
Right. Well, a beautiful thing about the speaking industry is it's never really oversaturated because by nature, 90% of humans, this is a real statistic, by the way, 90% of human beings are more afraid of public speaking than they
Mhm.
are of dying, which is a really crazy
Yeah.
idea, but it's true. And so, what does that really tell you? It tells you that if you have the courage to get into public speaking, you're immediately going to be up and above 90% of competition. You're in the
Hmm.
top 10% already. It's a great industry to be in. At times, it's maybe a little competitive between, getting the right bookings or not, but everyone is looking for speakers because there's not an abundance of them. And if you have the right message and the right purpose and voice, you're going to be able to get out there in places that no one else could possibly ever be.
I love it, man. I love it. When did that dawn on you that speaking was such a powerful way to, get yourself out there?
Well, it was really I had to put in a lot of effort, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for everything that I did for my business, and it felt inefficient, right? So it felt like I was working, even though the whole idea of entrepreneurship is that you're going to be in the future working less for more, right? You're going to have more freedom, you're going to leverage your
Yep.
time. It felt like the opposite. It felt like, okay, I decided to be a business owner, but I'm putting in more hours than I would at a job for less results and less growth. Nothing really felt effective until I just got on a stage that I was invited to speak on, and it quadrupled my business almost overnight. It was a ridiculous explosion for me. And
Hmm.
that event led to many others in and of itself. Speaking is not
That's right.
just flowing, it's networking by itself, right?
Hmm.
So I suppose it was the first thing that I had tried for my business that it felt efficient. It felt like that one explosive decision that led to exponential growth. And I always tell everyone, you're only one correct decision away from seeing success that you never imagined before. Just one decision.
Yeah, no, I love it. Speaking is definitely also networking. It puts you out there, and it's the best one to many, right? Since what Socrates, right, and Plato and Aristotle's.
Right.
But for you specifically, ever since you found that avenue, right, how are you, incorporating it on a daily basis? Do you try to find stages, right, with your do you have specific metrics?
Right. Well, that's a really good question. And it's funny that you mentioned Socrates and Plato. I literally have all their books right here. I'm a huge philosophy nerd. I got some Nietzsche here as well. A lot of books here that I love. But it kind of ties into that as a matter of fact, right? When you're having discourse, when you're having conversations with people, it tends to resonate a lot more than just ads. So what I do on a daily basis is I'm not doing all that much myself. That's the beauty of it all. And the advantage that speakup.express has, my business, is the fact that you have so many agents that are doing all the networking, all the outreach, all the bookings, and calendar management on your behalf. So I made my own agency. I made my own team of individuals who are working day and night, getting me booked for these events, getting me out there without me even having to do anything. I simply wait for to get those messages letting me know, hey, you've got a 4 p.m. today, you've got a 6 p.m. You're going to be on a stage in a week in another state, whatever. They're simply taking care of that for me because, again, the purpose of an entrepreneur is what? You're building systems. If you're always on the
Hmm.
front lines doing all the work, you're just self employed. And there's a big difference between being a business owner and being self employed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's great that you are able to now leverage a team, right? For those that's listening and they want to take advantage of speaking, but they don't know how to get started. What would you have to say about that?
Well, first and foremost, the most important thing you want to do is, of course, refine your skills, right? And the best way to do that is just by getting out there. There's a lot of podcasts that will take inexperienced guests, and you can just speak, refine your story, think about what you're going to speak about. If you're a business owner, it's very easy. You're going to speak about why you do what you do, your story. If you're someone that's been through a lot, also very easy to speak. But you want to think about what your message is first and foremost, and then simply start looking for engagements of any kind. That's going to be able to launch somewhat your career. But if you really want to take it seriously and really take speaking to a whole nother level and get to be that top 10%, top 1% speakers, you want to find an agency. There's very little that you can do on your own. You're not going to be able to reach out to that many people. You're not going to be able to manage all those relationships at once. You need to leverage others, the effort of other people, specifically an agency of some kind. So I would suggest start by refining your skills. Once you get out there, once you get comfortable, uh, don't be afraid to look for bigger solutions in the form of agencies.
And if they are exploring agencies, right, what are some things that stand out that you're like, hey, make sure you pay attention? Because not
Right.
all agencies are created equal.
Right? Now, that's a really good question. I really like that. There's one thing, really, there's one huge key when you're looking for any agency that helps with public speaking, and it's a price to event ratio. If they're not giving you guaranteed events, immediately just hop out of that. They should never be, holding the carrot on a stick over your head saying, hey, we're going to give you events, we're going to give you events, but then they're not giving you a strict quota. I give all my clients strict quotas of the exact number of events that we're going to be providing on a monthly basis. And that's a really big deal, right? Because if you don't have that in mind, if you don't know if you're going to be getting booked or not, you're simply wasting your money. So I would
Hmm.
say look for the guarantee of events, look for the price per event, and then also see if they're including coaching in on that. Coaching is, of course, very important because if you're getting on the right stages, but you don't have the right tune, the right, what's the word? Tuning of the instrument that is your voice, you're not going to
Hmm.
be as effective when it comes time to close deals.
Awesome, man. Those are really great insights. And so how long have you been building up this agency of yours at this stage?
Right. Well, I've been speaking for quite some time, pretty much my whole life, whenever I've gotten the chance to. This agency itself has been running for some time, 2 years now. And it's been a huge, huge launch because I was able to see such explosive success because of the way that I leveraged my team, the way that I built my database. I don't ever step on a stage without speaking to the host and letting them know, hey, I'm going to have more speakers for you in the future. Are you open to that? And I make sure that if I'm out there speaking, all the stages that I've been on are also reserved for all of my speakers, all the people in my
Mm.
agency. So it allows me to pave the path for other speakers that are aspiring or need the right connections, need the right stages. That's one of the most difficult things in the world of public speaking. And having someone that can just connect you with the right places is paramount.
No, I mean that's to be honest, just by hearing that, that for some people can be a huge headache to navigate,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah. Managing connections, managing relationships, and the networking and trying to get on the right stages. It's tough. Sometimes it'll take you months to get on a place if they don't know of you, if you don't have the right
Hmm.
name built up. So those are all the priorities that we have, especially within our first month with each and every one of our speakers.
Gotcha. And what do you think, the one thing or several things maybe that really sets you apart from all the other agencies that are out there? Having built one, for yourself and, and now that you're looking to do so for other entrepreneurs as well.
Right, right. I love that question as well. That's very huge. The main thing that makes my agency so revolutionary, and one thing that I didn't even realize it because when I built everything that I have at Speakup Express, it was just me building it from scratch from what I had done for myself. I am my own testimonial every step of the way. But I didn't realize that very few other agencies have that guarantee on their events. As a matter of fact, one of
Mm,
my first clients came to me saying that, like, hey, dude, I'm speaking to some other guys, but they don't have the guarantee that you have.
yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
take a leap of faith for that, right? And that in itself is a big deal because it is not just a guarantee that we're going to get you booked in events. It's a guarantee that we're putting the effort into you as a speaker to give you that
Hmm.
stamp, to give you that high quality on your performances, to make you a world-class speaker. And when I say world class, I'm talking quality. I'm
Yeah.
talking you're going to be speaking at that level. You're going to be articulating your message at a level that's going to undoubtedly resonate with so many people at the same time.
Sure. So obviously, I think because you've done it for yourself, in a way, you also have, what you have to offer is existing established connections who trust you, right, in the speaking industry. So that if people do sign up with you, you can also connect them to those same coordinators, managers, and hosts, right? In that case, would it be safe to say that you don't just take anyone on, right? Are you pretty graceful about that? Or, you gotta also have a reputation to maintain, so you also have a certain criteria, to deem if someone is a good fit or not.
Well, let me put it this way. It's somewhere in between the two. It's true that I don't take anyone, but in the sense that I'm not just going to accept absolutely anyone. I do have an interviewing process where I kind of see what their message is. But the philosophy that I like to take, rather than that, saying that I'm going to be exclusive and only work with certain people, I don't think that's fair either. Because frankly, no one is born a speaker. I think there's a lot of people that are introverted. There are still excellent speakers. I've seen it happen. I've made those speakers. So instead, the philosophy that I choose to adopt is I'm going to make you the kind of person that not only I would work with, but everyone would want to work with. And that boils down to, I mean, some of the things that I do, it's not just speaking coaching, it's also product refinement, message refinement, presentation creation, social media management, all of these different things I handle, right? So I'm interviewing people and I'm saying, okay, here's what you've given me so far. How can we formulate this? How can we word your message or your business in a way that's going to be so impactful on an emotional level that people cannot refuse you? That you are
Right.
an irresistible CEO or brand or even individual in your field.
So in a way, it's kind of like an all-inclusive business development package, right? That spans, not just from speaking, but to also marketing and helping you brainstorm the proper offer, right, that you should be presenting, in front of a specific group of audience, depending on what stage you can get them.
Right. Well, we do offer, there's people that don't really need the business help. There's people that don't need the coaching and they just want the events. We offer, we're very flexible with the options that we have for each and every
Mm,
person. But again, my most important priority every single time that I'm working with someone, and if there's one thing that I make sure all my clients walk away with every single time we talk is I'm not looking to get a client and leave with a client. I'm looking to attain a client, turn them into a speaker, turn them into a leader in their field and a revolutionary of their industry,
mm,
and leave it at
mm.
that. That's what I
I
want for
gotcha.
each and every person that I work with.
Sure. Well, because then that way you have the longevity and you have the
Right. Your success is
consistency,
mine.
right? And it compounds on top of each other. So that eventually you don't have to also, right, be out there just chasing clients. Your name speaks for itself.
Exactly. And that's what I want for all of my clients as well. I want their name to speak for them in
Yeah.
their industry. And of course, their success is my success. That longevity is important, extremely important to me because if I have leaders out in the world, their
Hmm.
icon speaks back to what got them there, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very mutual relationship that I maintain with each and every one of my speakers.
No, for sure. So in that case, are you strictly focused because you came from the trading and finance world, right? Is that kind of where you're also helping others? Or are you kind of broadening your horizons a bit?
Right. Well, I've got events of all different kinds, really. So, for example, in your case, yeah, I mean, you're an investor, you're someone in the world of finance, so it's pretty easy to find events with an audience of entrepreneurs for you. But I've got people who are doctors, psychologists. I've got people who are publishers, all sorts of different kinds of people. People that are just straight up speakers, and that's all they want to do. Authors,
Mm,
everything in the book, right? What's important, not just is refining your voice and getting on stages. That's cool, but
yeah.
finding the right audience. So I also, because part of the interviewing process for each and every one of my speakers, where I kind of see what they've got and what they're doing, is I need to know the exact places to put them. Right?
Yeah.
It's very different if you're talking finance to entrepreneurs
Hmm.
versus talking finance in a AA meeting. Right? It's not these audiences don't come together. But if you're a psychologist in an AA meeting, that's going to be a huge deal. All these things, depending on where you're speaking, it's going to make your voice echo louder or not as loud, right? So it's very important to have someone that has your back in that regard and make sure to put you in the right places.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, listen, Sebastian, it's always a pleasure having you on here, right? Before we part ways, do you have any last words for the audience in regards to speaking and speaking agencies as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first and foremost, again, a quick reminder that everyone here, there's not a single person on the planet, especially not an entrepreneur, who is defined by one thing. As an entrepreneur, you are someone who manifests purpose. You're someone who embodies your mission, your campaign against your industry, the system that you want to change. You embody that. You are literally a soldier on the front lines for what you're doing. And there's no
Hmm.
entrepreneur out there that does not benefit from being able to articulate their ideas. So I would say, if nothing else, that I want to leave people with here today is have the courage to get up and speak. You will notice how everything in your world begins to explode and expand exponentially just from having the courage to use your voice.
Absolutely, man. Dude, that's huge. What is the best way for people to get a hold of you or your company, your speaking agency, right, if they want to learn more?
Yeah, well, again, I like to work with everyone directly because I'm looking to transform lives. With that being said, speakup.express is the best way to get in touch with me. You'll see not only my phone number, but also a link on the bottom where you can schedule calls with me and start moving forward that way.
Awesome, man. Well, there you have it. Sebastian, back at it again, former trader, well, actually active trader who also is a huge passion for speaking and helping others get on stage. So, hey, listen, man, it's always a pleasure speaking with you and connecting with you. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you some more next time. All right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much as always, man.
All right, man. Thanks. Take care.